What's up, everybody? Welcome to the brand new, rebranded The Weed News. We are no longer The Weed Report because, frankly, some asshole did something a year ago and we were tired of finishing behind him in Google search. Sorry for my enthusiasm. I am jacked up right now on some caffeine, a lot of pot, so I'm very excited. Also kind of worried about my heart. Let's start in a bit of somber news. Longtime actor and weed advocate James Garner died recently at the age of 86. You may know him from starring in The Notebook, as well as one of my favorite card movies ever, Maverick. What a fucking fancy movie that is, huh? Mel Gibson not yelling Jewish things? It's a good one. Garner has been described as a lifelong user of marijuana, celebrating its emotional support as well as its pain relief effects on his arthritis. Coincidentally, on the day of his death, I was actually watching The Notebook, crying hysterically with an incredibly painful erection. I believe we have Instagram evidence of that exact moment. It'll pop up somewhere around here. That's a remote, not my real dick. Don't get too excited. However, I did take Mr. Garner's advice and smoked a bowl. The crying went away, as well as my erection. Pretty fantastic. Garner claimed the use of marijuana caused him to be more open-minded, empathetic towards his fellow man, and generally made him a better person. More patient, all of those things. So basically, it's exactly like the Schedule I narcotic, spend life in prison, potentially get raped drug that everybody would have you believe. In other news, if you live in Arizona and suffer from PTSD, never fear because legal weed is here. On July 9th, the state's top health official announced that based on a judge's overruling of a case, you are now allowed to smoke that piff if you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. How nice is it of them to allow people that suffer to now alleviate their pain legally? I don't understand how this wasn't a part of the original bill. So what, we can throw a kid into a war zone, potentially fuck up the rest of his or her life? They're gonna come back with these crazed symptoms, not being able to cope and live within a society, and now we allow them to smoke a plant that alleviates those symptoms. How delightful of us as human beings, instead of throwing big pharma pills down their fucking throat in hopes that they're gonna get addicted and forced to then take and pay for those for the rest of their lives. Preachy, I know. And now again, for my favorite segment, Toker Tech. Squeezing digital tits. This week, I'm going to review the delightful product called Atmos Raw Vaporizer Pen. I own one of these things. You can use it for dry bud, you can use it for wax, you can also use it for hash oil. Here is my complaint about this. When you do use it for dry bud, it's basically as if you just bought an electronic one-hitter. It scorches the pot entirely, turns it into ash, and gives you a good hit, but it's only one. My favorite part about a vaporizer is actually running the weed through once or twice, and then dumping it out into a little mason jar, which I then save until it becomes a lot, and I cook it in brownies. There's nothing like cooking an ounce of half-smoked weed into brownies and then kind of just, who knows what you're gonna get. You can fly to the moon, or it can just be a delicious snack. My second complaint about this thing is basically a personal grievance with myself. Don't load the wax while drunk. Here's the thing, I have a very difficult time measuring things when inebriated, so I tend to plop the shit all over the place and it turns into a sticky mess. Your hands get all weird. It basically feels as if you dropped a batch in the middle of your palm. Another issue I have with the vaporizer pen, and this is probably just because I'm some sort of addict, but the high dissipates quickly. It feels very nice. It's like a body high more so. It's not like one of those thinky, like I'm gonna be, figuring out math problems and also delving into my father's issues. This is one of those things that basically makes you feel kind of good, like you're floating in a cloud of cum. The positives of this device: super incognito, and I don't mean Richie from the Dolphins. Here's the thing, in New York City, it is completely illegal, obviously, to smoke in public. So with this little dandy, it seems as though you're just partaking in the biggest douche culture ever and smoking an e-cigarette. I would recommend this to anybody who lives in a state who has yet to jump on the bandwagon of legalizing this harmless plant. All in all, I would recommend the Atmos Raw Pen because it's portable, it's discreet, and the only downside is you'll look like a hipster that somehow traveled into the future. And now for our video of the week. This one sounds funny, but there's nothing funny about an undercover cop tripping an autistic kid. Now, although this might sound funny, there's nothing funny about this. An undercover cop tricked an autistic student into selling him pot. Take a look.
He decided to go to a dispensary, a marijuana dispensary, and he found some guy who Jesse says he thinks was a homeless guy who was near there, and he gave him the $20 and got a very small amount of marijuana for it. and that's what he supplied to Dan. He was charged with 2 felony counts of selling marijuana.
So because we can only show you a brief clip of this video, I'll summarize it for you. A 21 Jump Street style undercover mission was created in hopes of busting large drug dealers within a high school. It was completely unsuccessful, so the cop, in a grab bag attempt to make some sort of bust, befriended an autistic child and convinced him to find marijuana and then sell it to him. Once the students sold the undercover cop the weed, they immediately arrested the kid. Now, the kid has PTSD because he lost his only friend that isn't a computer. However, the good news is, at least now, the child has a weed connect that can help him manage his PTSD symptoms. So that concludes another episode of The Weed News, formerly The Weed Report. It might change again. Who the fuck knows? We're here, we're smoking, we might get creative. We might call it the marijuana fuck me in the butts. Subscribe right here. I believe it's here. I'm trying to push it out at you, but you don't have a 3D computer, you cheap fuck. Tweet me at @IamMikeCannon. Continue to leave comments under the YouTube videos. I will respond to as many as humanly possible. Since there's only been 3 to 4 per video, I'll get to all of them. Visit our website at theweednews.com, and thanks.